All right, we're getting an eclectic Trump cabinet together, what we are seeing of it, but what it seems to be in short supply are supply-siders, those, of course, who espouse really big tax cuts, and I mean the kind that are not necessarily revenue neutral, but of course that goes against the grain with the likes of Mitch McConnell in the Senate and others who say be careful how far you go here. So are we setting ourselves up for something? Charlie Gasparino has been following this very, very closely because I guess it would be the supply-siders and the Goldman guys, right?
Right. I mean, you have Mnuchin, you have Scaramucci to a certain extent. He was at Goldman for a while, who's going to get some position. We've been reporting.
By the way, what position?
I don't know. There's a lot of talk about him becoming some sort of working at the National Economic Council for Gary Cohn, who the Goldman #2, who just got the directorship. There's some talk about him becoming Reince Priebus's #2 as chief of staff. So there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of.
So he's in the mix.
He's in the mix. I would put Gary Cohn, the Keynesian liberal progressive, who's the head of the NAC. You have Mnuchin, who's kind of like doesn't have. I mean, he's kind of like a blank slate. I mean, he's a Goldman guy, so yeah, theoretically he cares about the budget being balanced, but he also believes in Keynesian infrastructure projects.
But he also dialed back that big tax cut for the rich, right? That it might in the end not amount to a tax cut.
Yeah, he did. And it doesn't amount to a tax cut because if you close the loopholes.
Right.
And you have that sort of coterie. And then you have the supply-siders who have not gotten a choice yet. They have not been like given one job. I mean, David Malpass, who was very instrumental in his help on economic issues for Donald Trump.
Right.
People are talking about him possibly at OMB, but still nothing.
But not running OMB.
Yeah, he's somewhere in there.
Right.
Steve Moore, still haven't heard his name being mentioned for anything. Steve Moore was one of the architects of the Trump tax plan and regulatory overhaul. And the other major architect of that was Larry Kudlow, full disclosure, friend of mine. And he is also, hasn't been given a job yet. Now, what Steve Moore said last night is that a major supply-sider is going to get a job. He said this on Fox Business last night, which sent tons of speculation on who that would be. Now, it's probably not Steve. He's not going to say that if he's gotten a call. My guess, it's either Malpass or Larry Kudlow. And here's the one job that is kind of open and interesting from economic policy, which could balance out the Trump cabinet. Something called the CEA, the Council of Economic Advisors.
Oh, sure.
Apparently, it's a cabinet-level position. So that you could see.
Greenspan used to run that for Ford.
That's right, and it is a stepping stone.
Remember, whip inflation now.
He came up with that?
Yes,
I do remember that. I can't believe Greenspan came up with that.
Yeah.
What a lame-o thing. But anyway.
I remember those buttons.
I remember Win, but I didn't realize Greenspan.
Right.
That should have disqualified him from being head chief. But because you should know, you just can't like rally around the flag and expect inflation to go down. So you would have the sort of Keynesian Goldman guys here, and you would have at least somebody over here in CEA and maybe budget to balance it out, because a lot of people believe that Trump ran on cutting taxes and regulations.
Yeah, he dials that back or has a Nixonian approach to this. I'm not talking scandal, but that moderate to liberal way of handling that. I don't think that's going to get the job done.
I don't think so either, and I think that's a problem with putting Gary. Listen, Gary Cohn is a very nice guy. Don't get me wrong. He's not a bad person. He's a very tough, good Wall Street guy. But he is a progressive, okay? I'm just telling you, he's not a draining the swamp type guy. He believes in Keynesian economics. He's very close to Obama. There's almost never.
Don't they become who they are in an administration?
Maybe, but he's never missed a Davos almost. I mean, he's part of that whole thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully, listen, Larry Kudlow would be great at something.
When is Davos? Isn't it coming up? Are you going there?
You know what? I took it out of my contract.
Really?
You know why? It's too cold.
Yes.
And too liberal. I mean, literally, every solution is government at Davos. Everything from, if there's a traffic.
Well, I was there via green screen.
It's better off.
Yeah.
I would rather be in New York than Davos. It's cold as hell.
We'd rather have you in New York. You're fun.
Yeah. And I tend to get thrown out of. You should have seen what happened last night at a Christmas party.
Look at the time. All right. Thank you, my friends.